Now, look, we all know that money is the root of all evil. We've all heard that saying a million times, but does it also destroy anything and everything good that comes out of the motorcycling community? Okay, so the irony does not escape me that just yesterday I did a video about my chopper project, that guy right there, and how I had blown the budget by 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 127%. Something like that. It has not gone well financially. And I said, like, anyone, if you want to join the channel, you could do that and then quit after smokeout. Just, the irony does not escape me. I get it. But it is what it is. You're going to build something awesome. You should take the budget and then double it, and that's how it goes. But what I'm talking about is a different quantity of money here. I'm not talking 10 to 20 grand. I'm talking the six-figure investors, the guy that owns a hedge fund, throughout the week and then suddenly decides he's a biker and then goes to a shop and writes a $250,000 check. And I'm not even exaggerating. We're talking numbers like that. And this started when we were in Daytona, this whole topic of like, money is bad and evil and destroys awesome things. And it's cyclical, so stick with me. This is going to be stream of consciousness. I'm just going to rattle off stuff as I think about it. But it started in Daytona when my buddy Tiny, who is really into performance baggers. Like, his bike is, I don't know, pushing 200 horse. Like, he's got, one of those psychopaths that cannot be beaten on the drag track. And he had posted somebody else's post on Instagram, and not to sound like an influencer, but it stuck with me. Where this dude had said, and I can't remember who it was, I'm sorry. Dude had said, that's it. Performance baggers are dead. It's all over. Pack it up. Go home. Forget about it. Don't go to shows anymore. It's all ruined. And it was a really interesting post because he went on to say, it's dead because money has found it. And that's really, really interesting perspective. So what he was saying is, like, performance baggers used to be, you might need some help for internal engine work if you do a cam or you do a displacement increase or something. You might go to a shop for that. But a lot of these dudes were like putting on their own brake upgrades. They're putting on their own T-bars. They're putting on, I don't know, all this like carbon fiber stuff. They were doing all that kind of stuff to their bikes. Maybe even a lightweight, titanium swing arm or whatever stuff. I'm not a performance bagger guy. So, all that sort of stuff. They were doing it at home. And then they would start these shows of these sort of home-built bikes. And it kind of blew up from there. And eventually what happened was, and the same thing happens to every cool trend in motorcycles, is money found it. As soon as these dudes like Tiny and his buddies made it cool, the guys that you could argue are naturally uncool but have a whole bunch of money in their pocket, they just went to the guys that used to build the big wheel baggers and wrote him a six-figure check and said, I want a performance bagger. And so the big wheel bagger guy just went and spent all the money. And I remember the post said specifically, you go to a performance bagger show now and there's a $25,000 paint job on a bike with a $30,000 motor, and it's just like, it's dead. It's dead now. Like the rest of us can't have fun with this anymore because now some rich guy who runs a hedge fund is just going to just write a check. And that sucks. There's a whole other topic on that. Just write a check. And all of a sudden you're the coolest in town. No, you're not. Yeah, but anyway, that sucks when a rich guy just buys his way into coolness. But so he was saying, performance baggers are dead. Don't even go to shows anymore. Just get on your bikes and go for rides with your friends because you can enjoy a show and learn from one another. There's just some guy who's just outspent you. Didn't touch the motorcycle. Literally just wrote a big wheel bagger shop a giant check, and that big wheel bagger shop turned out a carbon fiber titanium 190 horsepower Trask turbocharged, insane performance bagger that this guy just bought and then shows up to shows and starts winning. That does suck, but it's not new. That's what I told Tiny. I go, whenever you find something cool, money will destroy it, and it's happened a million times throughout history, right? So if you look at, I don't know, the big wheel bagger stuff probably started with guys bolting on stuff and doing things themselves, and then all of a sudden money found it and shops start making money off doing it. So now you get, this sort of stuff. The FXR craze is a prime example. FXRs became cool a couple of years ago, right? It's a trend because arguably there's a lot of dudes out there that'll tell you that a Dyna is a better motorcycle. Oh my God, comment section's going to lose their freaking mind on that. But there's a whole lot of dudes who be like, I don't understand the FXR craze. The Dyna's better. That's why it replaced the FXR. But don't kill me. I'm just saying what others have said, and they're probably right. But so the FXR craze started a couple years ago, and money found it. You used to be able to buy an FXR for nothing because nobody wanted it. Like, you know, you had the Dyna Bros, and the predecessor to the Dyna was worth nothing. Nobody wanted it. You know, like they were just being, it's like shovel heads. They were worth nothing, right? And then all of a sudden somebody made it cool. They built a cool FXR and money found it. So all of a sudden all these dudes start going and they're overpaying for FXRs. And now you see these clapped out piles of shit and some dude wants 12 grand for it. And it's like, someone will probably pay it. You know what I mean? Like some idiot out there will pay it, but that's, like, people are paying more for clapped out shitbox FXRs than they are for nice Dynas right now. And that blows me away, but it's happening right now because money found it. Same thing with the chopper craze, the Discovery Channel days, right? Choppers have always been something you built in your garage with your friends, and you had to go to a local shop for certain things and some help. Like I had to go to, you know, Bryn at Quality Handmade, you know. I bought this hat, anyway, don't judge, and had Bryn shave down the front axle because it wouldn't go through my wheel and that kind of stuff. So you might have that sort of help you need because you don't have a lathe, you know, that kind of thing. But for the most part, choppers were built in your garage. Paint jobs were often rattle canned unless you knew a painter. They were something you did with your friends. And then, right around 2000, the chopper craze started. So you had legit builders out there. You had the Jesse James and the Billy Lanes and the Paul Coxes and the Indian Larrys and the, you know, all those dudes that were legit builders. And then money found it. Again, I'm not knocking these guys. Don't try and put an inflection on there. But money found it. And as soon as wealthy dudes see choppers and they want one, they can go to a builder, again, and write that six-figure check. And as a builder, you're not going to say no. There's not a damn thing wrong with that. This is a business. And if somebody wants to write you a massive check to build them a custom bike, you're going to do that. But now you don't have time for the little guy anymore. Unfortunately. It's not their fault. It's the way it goes. And then all of a sudden, the chopper craze took over. And you actually, now the one thing that was different about the chopper craze, you actually had OEMs born as a result of that. So much money, I guess because television was involved. You know, again, I'm not knocking Discovery Channel or anything, but they put a bunch of money into the chopper business. So you had Texas Iron Horse and Big Dog and all these companies that just blew up to be massive, and they were getting $60, $70, $80, $90,000 for, while it be small batch, still manufactured motorcycles that are now worth $5,000. Have you seen that? You can buy a nice Big Dog, sub 8, a lot of times $5,000, because the money left it. Money flows in, money flows out, not worth anything anymore. FXRs, dudes who have put $25,000 in an FXR, ask them what it's worth in about 18 months. Just guessing, because the trend will move on, and all of a sudden they're not worth anything again. But those you know, wide wheel choppers that I loved too at the time. I'm not saying I was oblivious to it, but money found it. Money destroyed choppers, that sort of stuff. I'm concerned. The next thing, so we've already seen performance baggers get destroyed, right, by money. What's the next thing? And my fear is it'll be old school chops, because you can see that growing as well. You've got online influencer types that are never had anything to do with choppers before, suddenly starting to build one. I saw one yesterday of a person, I'm not going to name names because that's shitty, but of a person in a garage with a grinder grinding on a frame with a staged kind of shot when there was a dude standing right there watching. Like, there's a shot and the guy's doing it and this person's like grinding off one little weld and I'm sure they just handed off the grinder and walked away. That's the kind of stuff you see at the beginning when popularity is going to grab that, take it, and honestly ruin it. So I hope not, right? I hope it doesn't ruin it for the rest of us that don't have that kind of money. But I think that your old school Frisco-style chops and that kind of stuff that are kind of popular right now, but you can see young people showing up with them. Whenever you start seeing the 20-somethings, which is, I guess it's a good thing, 'cause you don't want it to die, but when 20-somethings start showing up with their own skinny, sporty chops, and you see businesses, which this is a good thing, like Lowbrow and TC Bros and Prism and all these, and Throttle Addiction and all these other places that are starting to become big businesses. While you're happy for them, you start getting worried about what it's going to do to the culture of it, right? because, again, I love what I've done now twice, or not even finished there, is build something in my garage not knowing what I'm doing and calling friends with questions, and not on a budget of $100,000. And when something becomes popular and you start seeing people that had nothing to do with it before and had never even been around it suddenly, I'm going to do one too, then you get worried. So what do you think? I want to know. Like, I'm pretty firm in this belief that money ruins things. When money finds something, it destroys it. But I want to see, what do you think? Like, do we think choppers is the next thing? Do we think I'm wrong on the performance bagger thing? I mean, I don't think so, because my friends who are performance bagger nuts agree that it's getting ruined by money. So am I wrong there? What do you think? What's the next thing? Are they going to ruin skinny chops? Do you think the fat tire chopper is going to come back? Is it going to be the same people we saw do last time? They're just going to get, popularity is going to bring them up again? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I just hope that it leaves the table scraps for the rest of us, So anyway, I love you all to death. Take care of each other. We'll talk real soon. Bye.